Should it say error like that? I asked, confused about what most of it meant. As soon as I stopped focusing, the information vanished from my palm. I don't think so. No. Strange. That's a pretty far out there universe designation as well. I wonder why anyone even bothered invading it, Elisek answered. He cocked his eyes at me, and I suspected he once again doubted my story. I don't know that one either, but they did manage to break several of my bones when they invaded. Is there a doctor, or is there something similar I can see? I'm going to need to get these treated before they get worse. The pain was moving from vomit-inducing to barely able to suppress a scream. I wasn't sure how much longer I'd be able to stay in this line, required or not. Here, take this. It should help, Cecile said, pulling a pill out of his pocket and pushing it into my hand. Damn it, Cecile, we don't have many of those restoration pills. You can't give them away like that. Elisek's voice had shifted from annoyed to angry. You can have it back, it's all right, but if you can point me to a place to get some medical attention, that would be great. I coughed into the hand that wasn't holding the pill after I said this. My hand came away from my face with blood in it. That was an increasingly bad sign, and both of the brothers had spotted it. No, Elisek, just because we aren't on the farm doesn't mean we are going to lose our manners. Dave clearly needs our help, and you aren't the kind of man who just leaves someone to die like that, Cecile said. Dave, take the pill right now. Forget what I said. Do it, or I'll have to force it down your throat, Elisek said, his glare dropping again. Not having much choice in the matter, I shoved the alien pill in my mouth and swallowed. Instantly, I felt a rush of energy throughout my body. It reminded me of the first time I'd ever had an energy drink. I felt like I could do anything, but as quickly as that feeling came, it vanished. It left behind a body devoid of pain. Either it was an amazing painkiller, or it had instantly healed my bones. The latter seemed nonsensical, but considering I was in another universe talking to a two-headed creature that towered over me, I figured it was well past time to argue what was possible and what wasn't. Okay, I feel amazing. How did that work? I asked, blinking rapidly, still shocked at the pain being completely gone. Even the usual aches and pains I felt in my knees and back seemed to have gone. I lifted my cracked glasses off my head. Sadly, the world turned blurry. The pill hadn't fixed everything. It was just a C-grade healing pill, nothing special. Good enough to knit bones back together, but can't do much beyond that. Have you never had one before? Cecile asked. There isn't anything like this in my world, no magical healing or whatever this is at all, I replied. The bird had said something about that, hadn't he? How he'd been surprised anyone would come to our universe with its complete lack of mana. Did that mean other worlds were full of magic or mana, if that was somehow different from magic? I probably shouldn't assume they were the same. That sounds awful, and I'm sorry you came from such a hellish world. Stick by us, and we'll do what we can to help you through registration, though I don't know that we'll know too much more than you. Our planet is pretty backwater itself, Cecile replied, once again offering a hand. This time it looked to be for a handshake. Were those somehow universal? I reached my hand out to grasp his, and he squeezed once and twice and released. Okay, that was different than the handshakes I was used to, so not quite universal. I appreciate it, and thank you again. I'll try to find a way to repay you for the healing pill if I can, I said, and I meant it. For all I knew, they were here trying to save their own planet too, and had just wasted one of their precious few resources to help me. That was a debt I had to repay. Don't worry about it. As much as Elisek might be a bit of a grump, even he knows making some friends and allies here is a good idea, especially someone who already has an insignia. You really don't know who gave it to you? Cecile asked. I only know him as the big bird I found with a broken wing once, and up until minutes before I ended up here, I didn't even know he could speak. Oh wait, I just remember he gave me something else. I fiddled around in my pockets, ignoring the cell phone, keys and wallet that were likely wholly useless now, until I found the small orb Big Bird had spat at me and pulled it out. Put that away quick before anyone sees, Elisek said gruffly. I dropped it back in my pocket, not willing to argue with someone who had a better handle on what was going on than I did. "Okay, but why?" I asked after I had done so. "That's a crazy amount of refined experience, and it's worth a fortune. Someone is going to steal that if they see it. Don't tell anyone else about it, and we can talk about it more once we get somewhere private. Here, get in front of us. It looks like we're next, so you go first, and we'll block your insignia from prying eyes," Elisek explained, then gestured for me to move in front of him. I took the offer. I wasn't sure if I entirely trusted these two, or if I just didn't have much of a choice in my friends at the moment. I walked in front of them just as a surprisingly human-like figure behind the desk called next. "Form 29C, please," the lady behind the counter said to me. What?" I asked back. "Show them your insignia, Dave," Cecile whispered behind me. "Did you lose your form? You will have to go back down to the first floor." She had started explaining before I cut her off. "Sorry, I have an insignia right here, see?" I raised my hand to show her the symbol and read out. She studied my hand for what felt like much longer than she needed to before speaking again. "Are you two with him?" she said towards the brothers behind me. "Yes." "No." They both said this at the same time, causing her to glare at them. "All right, I want all three of you to follow me. You'll be getting a private meeting with my boss. There's something off with that insignia and I don't like it," she explained as two extremely large elephant-like creatures walked up beside her. They were dressed in a way that screamed security guard to me. "Yep, you heard the lady. We're coming." Cecile nudged me forward after her as he and his brother followed behind. I guess that meant they were some sort of security guard, and the brothers didn't want any trouble. Was the insignia some kind of fake? Had the bird been lying to me for some reason? I hated being so far out of the loop on information that I didn't even know the right questions to ask. So I just shut up and followed her silently into the hall.